Jim Jones is not having a great year.
And the Airhead Award of the day goes to Jim Jones, who's on the highway riding and runs out of gas. Bow. 93.
Cash.
93 cash. I just walked about a mile to the gas station. That can't be good. But I got my work jacket on. Dip set in full effect. They can't say they don't see me. I'm working. But yeah, like I said, this is my situation. There's always something. So I was supposed to do the live stream at 12. Don't look out like I'll make it at 12, but let's try for 12:30. Give me a quick second. Never fails. Never fucking fails. Life is gonna throw me some curveballs for real. Now, I'll be trying to find a sign and everything. This one clearly states, slow your ass down, bro. Speeding. Word. Get a grip, nigga. Why are you moving so fast, nigga? Look at this. See the blinkers? You see the blinkers all the way down there? Look how close these cars has been fucking crazy. You see the blinkers? Yeah. I'll be right there, though. I got God with me. That's the best thing about it. These are the moments where I find the moments of clarity, really. Everything start coming down on you. Start think clearer than ever. That's if you learn how to handle situations.
What's up, world? Your boy Challz Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Keep sending those cash apps to CLBMG. Join that membership. And all you buying that merch down below. Gang, listen. Jim Jones is doing bad, gang. This might be the worst year of his career. This last year and a half, 2025 into 2026, have been possibly some of the worst timing I've seen for a rapper in a very long time, if ever. I don't know if anybody has had this level of nonsense happen to them over and over and over again. We've seen Jim Jones take L after L after L. It is almost laughable to see a man stumble this much but try to act like everything is fine, right? Like that meme with the burning house and that guy from that kid from the Simpsons. He's like, I'm okay, right? The house is burning down, everything is going to shit, and it looks like Jim is bringing this on himself to a degree, because most of the stuff, let's just be honest, is avoidable. Running out of gas is avoidable. Running out of money for your podcast studio is avoidable, especially when you claim to have a whole lot of money put away. So I want to talk about this because this is a teachable moment, right? A lot of guys try to act really, really rich, and a lot of guys try to act really, really tough, and a lot of guys try to act really, really smart. And a lot of times, all of that acting blows up in your face, and sometimes you realize, I'm not that good of an actor at none of this shit, okay? End of the day, I'm looking at Jim Jones' situation. Let's just start at the start. He's upset that, well, I'm not going to say he's upset, but Fabulous and Mano clowned him for getting stranded, having to walk a mile to get gas. What kind of rich rapper with a very successful podcast is running out of gas on the highway, gang? I know you got a lot of shit on your mind, but I want to talk about that. But let's just talk about the whole situation. Jim Jones, really, I don't know if he needs to sage his house. I don't know if he needs to go to church and pray on the altar for a little bit and sprinkle some holy water on himself. I don't know what's going on. But it looks like everything is not coming up roses. Them roses, like Andre 3000 say, them roses stink. They stinking like poo-poo. Let's talk about it. You seen Jim Jones, I'm going to read this article, right? But you seen Jim Jones, the podcast studio, get the doors locked on him. The landlord smoozing with 50 Cent, talking about Jim Jones owes upwards of this, that, and the third. A whole lot of money right now. And I believe there was a video of him rushing to go pay the money because it came out when he was beefing with 50 Cent that he owed this money. That came out, he rushed and paid it up, which it was a couple months worth of money that the landlord couldn't get from him. How in the world you had it, but you didn't pay the guy is beyond me. And when 50 Cent started talking about buying the building, Jim Jones allegedly ran and paid it, right? So that's not good. Like that's not good to have the public see that. The public should know you're behind on your rent It's crazy. But that's one of the things. Let's talk about it. What else happened in this year and a half, this really bad year that Jim Jones is having? Okay, so he was he had the beef with 50. They went back and forth. They even came out with records and shit and this, that, and the third. But no one became the victor out of that, right? Then in the same year, these last 2 years, he tried to sell his catalog, and he found out when he in the middle trying to sell it, he don't own the masters to it, so he can't sell it, right? So it's like, oh wow, that's a real bad, that's a dark gang. That is not sharp. That's not smart. It ain't good for people to see that. Then he tried to do a diss record called Jomo, but his label put the kibosh on that and stopped it. Said it's not a good look, right? Whoever he was dissing, Cameron, 50, or whoever else, he was going to hit them all with this record. The label was like, don't do it, Jimmy. We're going to advise you not to, which means we're telling you no. Okay? So then he had that L. So then, and this is Jomo's out his own mouth, well, Jim out his own mouth saying these things happen, right? Then apparently I got a lawsuit from a Miami nightclub coming down on him, claiming his entourage caused a shutdown at the end of the day. So it's like, all of that is in the last couple year and a half, gang. It's like not really a lot of good shit going on. Then he was beefing with Cameron, right? Remember that whole thing that Jomo ain't from Harlem. He used to come around. We used to use his house. He used to ask us to come through his house, and we used to go over there, but we didn't know why we was there. This, that, and the third. Cameron was really sunning him, playing him, and Jim Jones tried to challenge him to a boxing match for $10 million. He was mad at Swizz Beatz. He was mad over the verses, this, that, and the third. It seemed like Jim Jones mad about a lot of shit in this last year and a half. I mean, they've been back and forth for years, right? Let's just be honest. Cameron and Jim Jones been at odds probably as long as I can really remember. I'm just going to be honest. I think soon as that Dipset shit cooled off, soon as that Rockefeller era ended and they started to cool off, Jim Jones, I remember 15, damn near 20 years ago, Jim Jones and Cameron was on World Star and on Vlad TV, different platforms on YouTube, striking out at each other. So they've been back and forth for years. They cool here, then they not cool. Cameron been in beef with everybody since goddamn shit, early 2000s. So that ain't nothing new at all. Then he wanted to open his mouth, and we all caught feelings about this one when he claimed that his catalog and his influence were more relevant than Nas. Now, that triggered us. It triggered us for a couple months. He doubled down on it. It got so bad that he had to actively tell people, stop bringing it up. I don't want to talk about it. Then he ended up on Bag Fuel. They brought it up, and they tried to co-sign the shit, talking about you are more relevant. So it's like the blind leading the blind. But we all went crazy because we were like, Jim Jones, this was a really big topic. I did about 3 or 4 videos on it. We were like, Jim, Nas has Grammys. Nas has gold and platinum records. Nas has hit records from then and now. He has records that people are considering classic right now. Nas could pack out the Madison Square Garden right now. He was trying to say that the jeans he was wearing, True Religions, and this, that, and the third, or whatever he was wearing was popping more off in the hood than Nas's whole dress code. And it's like, that's not influence. You had a hot summer or two where people were liking how you dressed. Not the same, my guy. Nas could pack out the Madison Square Garden. Nas is constantly touring on a regular basis. Nas has some of the biggest business deals in history. He invested in Ring Doorbell. He invested in some of the biggest things that we've heard of and got the bag from them. Nas is a bona fide influencer without even trying to influence. And he don't go on social media dissing nobody. Right? And I believe Nas had a response to Jim because when Raekwon put out a record, Raekwon dropped his album last year, a couple months ago. At least 6 months ago. And he had a song with Nas. And the song with Nas had a different verse because the original verse that Nas dropped on there, Nas told him to take it off because he didn't want people to misconstrue that he was going at anybody. But I believe that original verse, because the original verse ended up leaking, I think he was going at Jim Jones, and I think he was going at homeboy from the Outlaws who just committed suicide last year. What's his name? It's not Fatal. I can't remember the guy's name right now offhand, but homeboy from the Outlaws who did a savage diss to Nas and Young Noble. And Young Noble did a savage diss to Nas. I covered it. I did a video about it. Was it relevant in hip hop? This, that, and the third. It's back in my videos. But I believe that Nas was going at Young Noble, and I believe he was going at Jim Jones. And he asked Raekwon to remove that verse, and he took the verse off. Somehow the verse got leaked anyway. You know how these engineers do, and these guys that have the shit, they'll leak it anyway. But I believe that he came at Jim Jones, and he laughed at Jim Jones in that verse. So we all were laughing at Jim Jones, including Nas. But Nas don't never publicly go out and disrespect nobody, and he never publicly goes out looking for clout. Jim Jones admittedly said he was doing this stuff because his clout goes up every time you get mad at him. People go back and play his records. So Jim Jones admitted this was like a clout move. It was a clout chase. You shouldn't have to do that if you got the influence over Nas. So that was very detrimental to his year. And I'm seeing a whole lot of stuff. And I did say that his podcast studio, the IFC Factory, was a great idea. It's called the Intellectual Factory of Content. It's such a good idea. It's almost above what you think Jim Jones could come up with. But it's a one-stop shop to do all your content creation. When it's ever finished, I guess I don't think it's finished yet. You can shoot videos there, do music, this, that, and the third. So he's thinking big outside of hip-hop. I'm thinking bigger, something for the culture that you can do everything in one place. Well, if you can't pay the rent, that's a problem. So he got this great, gigantic, big idea, but he's struggling to pay the rent on it, and he still. This is the problem with the rappers from the 90s, gang. They still have an image to uphold, and they still carrying that image all the way into the 2000s and 2026. And that image is of richness, decadence. I don't care. I'm unbothered. I'm too cool for you. I make more money than you. I'm bigger than your whole catalog. All this shit. So he's still trying to carry that, even though I believe that Jim Jones may be pushing 50 at this point. You can let go some of this I never lose shit. Some of this I am bigger than the program. I'm Dipset. Sometimes just be real. Right? This is the problem Dame Dash suffers from. He's not real. He keeps trying to show that he got all this money. Even in his darkest times, the dude Dame Dash bankrupt. He's losing everything. They made him sell everything. And Dame Dash will still put on a bucket hat with no shirt, go sit by the water and say that my house is bigger than yours, even though we know that he's with his wife and that's her house. End of the day, right? Dame Dash still wants to have this bigger than thou image, and that's the whole thing from the 90s. They carry that shit in, and that's the same thing Jim Jones does, and 50 to a degree. But the thing with 50 Cent, he actually does have some money, okay? I know 50 Cent declared bankruptcy, but he bounced back. Jim Jones wants to still have this illusion of all this money, and he probably well off, but it don't look well off when your landlord is getting footage of you in a freezing cold studio kicking doors because the doors are locked because you don't have access because the landlord locked you out. So if you just be real with us, gang, it'll mean more. Look at Math Hoffa still in trouble again with the barbershop. Math Hoffa's about to lose a second barbershop. We saw the lady taking the keys, locking the door from Math Hoffa. These guys they stuck in the 90s, and they want us to believe fallacies and bullshit. What they got to do is actually just grow up. A lot of the stuff that's happening to Jim Jones, if he just grew up, half this stuff wouldn't even be an issue. And people, I want to like Jim Jones. Listen, gang, let me tell you a story. I'm not the biggest Jim Jones fan, but around that time when Jay-Z had Tidal and Jim Jones had squashed his beef with Jay and he went to Tidal, I was already in on Tidal, Jay-Z, the whole plan. Jay-Z ended up selling Tidal, but I was one of the people, I was locked in on, okay, underground artists, independent artists, go to Tidal. They got a whole plan. They're gonna make it better for artists. This is when they were selling us that dream that they were gonna increase artists' pay and artists were gonna be more successful if they signed the Tidal and signed to Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z had us all thinking that if you just go over there, it's gonna be great and better for you. So Jim Jones, all a little beat. Remember Jim Jones, he crack on Jay-Z, all right, wearing sandals on the beach and this, that, and the third. They clown Jay-Z for wearing them sandals on the beach, and then and they clown Jay-Z saying he was out of touch, Put all that aside. Went sat down with Jay-Z in the Tidal's offices. This was unprecedented, gang, because if you knew how them 90s was and you knew how Dipset and Jay-Z and them were at big odds. So for him to sit down with Jay-Z, shake his hand, and sign up under him, it was a big deal. So when he signed to Jay-Z, he put out some music, right? The music was some of the best rappers. Let's be honest. Jim Jones was the worst rapper in Dipset at some point. When he first came out, we were like, God, this guy is fucking awful. But Jim Jones, over the years, honed his craft while the other guys was doing all these business moves, whatever they was doing. Jim Jones got a better as a rapper. He became arguably one of the best rappers in Dipset. And when he dropped that record on Tidal, it was some of the best music I had ever heard from Jim Jones. So I wanted Jim Jones to succeed. You got to understand, I'm not a hater of Jim Jones. I was like, yo, this dude is putting out quality music. So I was very, like, supportive. Okay, so you got to understand how that kicked me in the nuts when I saw Jim coming out to me. And I know you guys don't take it. Some of you don't take it as disrespect. It was disrespect what he said about Nas. Don't say you got more influence than Nas. Don't say Nas is irrelevant. You're saying he washed up. You did. We're not going to do that. You force people to take sides. People like me had to take sides. So we couldn't rock with Jim no more. Right? It's just that simple. We got to take sides. Now, we're not saying we want the nigga to lose. But at the end of the day, when we start taking sides, we're going to sit there and be very, very open and honest about how we feel your career really is. Okay? So end of the day, we have to respect what happened and check Jim Jones. So all of that happened, and Jim Jones, it seems like his career is not bouncing back and not doing well from all that shit. But let me have this conversation, and I want to read this article because this whole video is stemming from him running out of gas. I'm like, that's like the final buzz. That's like the final boss. Right? You doing all this shit, and we calling you out, and you're still fighting, trying to pretend you're rich, this, that, and third. Then you run out of gas on the highway, right? Let me read this article. Fabulous and Mano clown Jim Jones for getting stranded on the highway by Caroline Fisher for HotNewHipHop.com. Jim Jones recently had to go on a mile-long trek to a gas station after running out of fuel on the highway. Recently, Jim Jones found himself in a sticky situation when he ran out of gas and got stranded on the highway. Fortunately, there was a gas station not too far away. Gang, I've been in that situation. I don't ever want to be in that situation again. It's scary. Like, it's hot or cold. You're walking forever. Nobody's stopping, gang. You got to walk a mile to a gas station. You could get hit by a car. We've seen people on the news dead walking. Their car got stranded. So I don't never want to be in that situation. Unfortunately, he made it. Let me continue. He documented the experience on Instagram. Quote, "Nah, how I ran out of gas, shaking my head. Feel like God said, slow down," he captioned the post. "Who's on the highway riding and runs out of gas?" he asked with a laugh. "I just walked about a mile to the gas station. That can't be good." Jim uses a lot of stuff for content, which is what it is. I guess that helps his brand stay relevant. But some of the stuff, I think he almost puts too much on there. It's like, I'm going to put too much on here. I'm just going to be honest. Needless to say, fans are getting a good laugh out of this. And I guess that's self-deprecating. I guess that's what I said earlier, that he needs to be more real. But at some point, being real becomes a hindrance when you're showing everything that's bad, right? When you're making fun of everything. Some shit you don't got to respond. Some shit you don't got to show. Some shit you don't got to answer to. I'm just going to be honest. But let me continue. Like when the lights was out the studio and he came back doing the kung fu, he's trying to make fun. Well, he learned how to troll. He learned how to make light of himself. This, down the third. But at the same time, man, people wouldn't be rooting against you if you weren't making yourself so unlikable by doing the things that you're doing, by coming out at Nas and this, down the third. All right, but let me continue. Needless to say, fans are getting a good laugh out of this. Some of Jones' peers have chimed in on the incident, making their amusement apparent. That includes two of his Let's Rap About It podcast hosts, Fabulous and Mano. Quote, "Never slow down, but sometimes you're moving too fast. Don't let that go over your head," Fab said in his comment section. Mano wrote, "Let's gas about it," adding series of laughing emojis. A few social media users have even tagged 50 Cent in the post about Jones' track, hoping to hear a response. So far, Fifth hasn't publicly commented on it. In recent months, however, he's been hard at work trolling Jones and his podcast co-host every chance he gets. In February, he allegedly linked up with Jones' landlord. This was after he accused Jones of owing thousands of back rent on his podcast studio. "Sam is my partner. I own the joint. Now you're going to fix every door you kick in, or I'm going to kick your ass, Jimmy. By Monday, or you're destroying my property," he captioned the photo. Before that, Fifth posted security footage of Jones allegedly trying to kick down the door of the podcast studio after the locks were changed on him. Gang, that's funny. 50's doing this thing. He actually is giving them guys a lot of promo in pub. I wouldn't be surprised if it's some secret shit where they decided we're going to do this for publicity. That's very possible with these guys. But at the end of the day, I feel like personally, all publicity ain't good publicity. And I think some of this publicity is tarnishing Jim Jones' image, where a lot of the comments are really just hating or ridiculous or just disrespectful, and that to a point degree. I don't know how long you can sustain a career off of people just hating on you. Some of the content just gotta have some type of appeal to people that really want to hear what you got to say. You got to kind of relate to them. It can't just be negative shit all the time where they're like, oh, this nigga Joe Mo's a clown, da da da. At some point, we got to tighten up these leaks, man. We got to pay our rent on the podcast studio, okay? We got to actually stop coming out dissing other rappers all the time. It's like it's always something. The Freddie Gibbs shit, this, that, and third. It's always something, right? So tone down the testosterone, gang. Like, chill out, right? That's what God is telling you. Slow down, right? I'm going to leave it at that, man. Listen, keep your head up, Jim. Keep your head up. Everything gonna be all right. Look like you going in the right direction. I told you that podcast studio is a good idea. What you're doing is smart, but the trolling is not. You're alienating a lot of would-be fans, guys that want to like you, right? I want to give you your props, but you're making it hard. I'm going to leave it at that, man. CLBMG, head on over to black-yeti.com. They ship all over the continental U.S. Let them know who sent you. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on the What Show. Me, TJ, and Fliz. Tap in. Head on over to my Patreon, the Charles Brown Patreon. I'm over 20-some exclusive episodes in. Plus, I post all my free videos over there. You can see everything I'm doing on there. The content is there. Free memberships and everything else is over there. Lock in, all right? Also, we got a new video called Peanut Butter Tim's. Me, TJ, and Fliz is off the What Project. That project is on all streaming platforms. Lock in. Hit the share button. Hit the like button on that, all right? I'm out of here. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the verbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like past fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here and we ain't the cheese, we the trap.